Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I got here the Honda Pioneer 520 and we're going to install the Warren winch kit. Let's get to it. For anyone who is wondering, these are your Honda instructions. Simply scan the code or type in the web address and go to the website for your directions. Next, we're going to install the winch onto the winch mount. We're going to use these 13mm bolts here with the split washers. Okay, once I have my winch tightened down to the winch mount, I'm going to make sure those bolts are tight, and then we're going to install our electrical wires here. Blue to blue, yellow to yellow. Okay, now that my wires are connected and tight, I'm just going to double check, make sure they're on the driver's side of the winch and they're routed towards the back of the machine. The next thing we can do is install the fair lead. You want to make sure to have the big roller on the bottom. Okay, the next thing we need to do is remove our bumper. We'll have to take out these 12 mils and 14 mils on either side. Okay, the last thing we need to do before we install the winch onto the side-by-side is install this plastic guard here. This is done with the 3 plastic push pins. Okay, we are now ready to install the winch mount onto the side-by-side. They provide you with new 12mm bolts and longer 14 mils. Okay, now we got our winch in place. It goes just along the bottom of the frame here and then down to these 14mm bolts. We'll get our bolts tightened up and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, one of the last things I need to do is get these 14 mil nuts on the inside of these 14 mil bolts. The best tool to tighten them up will be 18 inches of extension, a universal, and a 14 mil socket. Okay, now that our winch and mount are installed, I'll go along, check all the bolts, make sure everything's tight. If you're finding this one useful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that thumbs up. If you're interested in the gear I use, check the links in the description below. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is mount my switch. We're going to mount it about right here. So I'm going to take my step drill bit, you can use any drill bit, and we're going to go right in the middle and just put a pilot hole. After that, I'm just going to take my switch and a somewhat sharp knife, and I'm going to line my switch up, and I'm just going to cut it away until it fits in there real nice. So I'm pretty much done cutting away the hole for my switch here. I've made sure to leave it pretty tight. I have to squeeze it in there a little bit. And then once I hook up the wires and really push it in there, it'll be nice and secure. Okay, one of the last things we need to do is route our power and ground cable wires. We're going to route them right along the main wire harness here and follow the frame down and along. Now I'll start running my battery positive and ground cable. The ground cable with the little brown jumper needs to stay up here in the hood. The battery cable with this funny little end here needs to go to the battery. In order to make it easier to route the cables, I'm going to remove this plastic panel here. It has 6 plastic pins and one 10 mil down at the bottom there. I also need to remove this panel here. It has 10 plastic push pins and 3 Phillips screws. Before routing the positive cable through, I'm going to cut this little rubber end off. I don't use it anyway. Okay, so I got the battery cables routed underneath the floor, following the original wire harness and coming out here. We're going to keep following the original wire harness up and through that way and come out over here by the battery box. Next thing I'm going to do is open up the battery box. I'm going to take the positive cable and I'm going to follow all these original cables. I'm going to go behind the fuse box and over to the positive terminal. Now that I got it routed, I'm going to leave it disconnected until later. We're going to mount the ground cable with all the main grounds right here on the frame. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is route our blue and yellow power cables. Again, we're going to follow them up the frame here and out to the top of the hood. As you can see, I've routed my cables out the top of the hood here. We're following the frame along here, under the frame here, and out to the top of the passenger side here. And this is where we're going to mount our relay box. Now it's time to hook up our winch relay. I'll just go through and I'll hook up each wire with their corresponding color on the relay. Okay, the next thing we need to do is hook the wires up to our winch control switch. Holding the switch with the terminals on our right hand side, going from the bottom, we're going to have green with white, black in the middle, and black at the top. Once you get your wires hooked up, go ahead and feed it from the inside to the front. I'll also have to install this sub harness here. You can pause it for the part number if you need it. Okay, now that I got the sub harness in place, let's connect our last few wires. Okay, with the last of our wires connected, the last thing we need to do is mount our control box here. It's a little hard to see, but our control box is mounted right up front here. There's these two tabs coming off the frame, and we'll use two 10mm bolts to mount it right there on the frame. I'll get that done now and tighten it up. Now that everything else is in place, we can push our switch in. Nice and tight. No wiggle, right on. The last thing I need to do is hook up my power wire. Okay, now that everything's hooked up, the last thing I need to do is test it out. Works good. Okay, now that I know it works, we're gonna go around, make sure all our bolts are tight, and then we're gonna take a big handful of zip ties, and we're gonna tie in all that wire that we installed. Okay, now that I've gone around and zip tied in all the wires that we installed, I can reinstall the plastic panels that we removed. Thank you for watching my winch install on the Honda Pioneer 520.